أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك لما وحنانيك ألم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وسائر نبيين وصالحين وسلم على موفقني واهدني وسددني واجملي بين الصواب والثواب وعذني من الخطأ والهرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our questions and answers, the first of the week for me, Wednesday. And we do what it says on the tin. You call in with your questions and we will inshallah endeavor to give you some answers. Now let's get the elephant out of the room first of all. Subhanallah, what weather we've had over the last few days. Been extremely hot, mashallah. I hope everybody's been taking the necessary steps and precautions to make sure that the vulnerable were being looked after, as well as the not so vulnerable, because in this sort of weather everybody is vulnerable really. If you're not ensuring you're taking the right amount of water, staying out of the sun in crucial times, and then good old British weather, suddenly within a day we drop right down to 20 degrees. I'm surprised it wasn't snowing today, but you never know, it might snow tomorrow. Anyway, now that we've got the weather out of the way, which was the obvious thing to speak about, queries, questions, as we start approaching Muharram as well, coming up soon inshallah, in a couple of weeks time rather, which starts the beginning of the new Islamic calendar, start of the new year, 1444, goodness me, all fours. I don't think I'll be around when it's 4,444 somehow, but you never know. You never know. With the science developing and things are progressing as they are, they might find somewhere to cryogenically freeze me and bring me back to life in 3,000 years' time. Would I want to come back to life in 3,000 years' time? I don't know, but you never know. Let's see how science develops. Anyway, questions and answers. You need the phone number. The phone number is 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. Please do give us a call. I know Wednesdays is a little bit slow, and I can imagine the airwaves are still a bit humid and sticky, so the call will take a little bit longer to come through on Wednesday than it does on Thursdays and Fridays. But hey, we shout out, hopefully you'll get the message and you can call in. We have advanced area. Oh, we don't hold back at Iqra TV. We've also got an email address. Yes, I know. Welcome to the 21st century or 22nd century. So the email address is qa@iqra.tv. That's QANDA at being the @ IQRA.tv. So please do get your emails in or get your questions in over the line, over the phone line. And inshallah, as I said, we will try our utmost to try to deal with your queries. Remember, they don't have to be questions. They can be just sort of points which is occupying your mind, thoughts which are crossing your mind. Talking about thoughts crossing the mind, I read an article today. I'm trying to remember where I read it. You read so much material from so many different places, you forget. And it was talking about some scientific work that's been done on antidepressants. And they're finding out that antidepressants don't actually work, which is quite alarming, the fact that they get churned out like Smarties or any other type of sweet, Maltesers or anything else you would wish to remember. Obviously, clearly, we're not here to promote any particular type of brand. But, you know, they give them out willy-nilly, and it's now science is coming through explaining that actually they're not so sure if there's any effect whatsoever. There's a particular drug, which now slips my mind, which is the key component, and it hasn't any effect whatsoever. Raises the question, doesn't it? Because we still don't fully understand the mind. We don't fully understand, you know, what makes us us, the you factor. How we kind of, you know, we know there's a biological part of us. We can clearly see the biological part of us. But what is this other part? What is this other part which makes us us, the ideas, the thoughts, the beliefs, all these other aspects of us that isn't just limited to the physical side of us? You know, what about this? How does that work? And sometimes, you know, we try to find so many answers to solve that. And, you know, unfortunately, we live in a world of pharmaceuticals. So the quick answer seems to be the magic pill. Magic pill solves all problems. But clearly, as this scientific research that's been done recently clearly shows that that's not the case. That it's not just a magic pill that will make all your problems disappear. And we know life isn't like that. Magic pills don't really work. You know, if you're overweight, taking a magic pill is not necessarily going to get rid of that weight. If you're unhealthy, taking a magic pill is not going to get rid of that either. I think we have to understand that there's many underlying factors when it comes to exercise, the diet, and all things of that nature. So obviously, it is not something easy. It is something that needs to be done with some time, effort, and energy. Similarly to our kind of mental state, and mental health is an issue which has been on the agenda for some time now. It's something that unfortunately we kind of take for granted, and if we look within the Islamic literature, we find that the mental aspects of the human was as much of interest as the physical aspects of the human, and getting this balance between the person's soul, the ruh, was so essential. And in fact, many, you find, books called Tibbur Ruh, and or words of that nature, which is medicine for the soul, and medicinal. Even though I use the word tib and I've translated that as medicine, tib doesn't necessarily mean medicine, because I know as soon as I said the word and it left my mouth, I envisaged everybody was thinking of small tubs of pills and liquids, and it doesn't. Tib actually means taking a preventative measure, diagnosing and dealing with a particular issue. That's really the kind of tib in a nutshell. That's how we understand it. So therefore, the scholars within the literature we find took as much as the bodily concerns as much as they did the soul's concerns, and getting that balance. Allow me to give you an example. Even medics now will say to you that stress can lead to physical illnesses. Being depressed can lead to physical illnesses. So that clearly shows a connection between the soul, the spirit, the mind, and the body. Even though the body is physical, the soul, the spirit, the mind is not physical, metaphysical, or whichever the type of dimension it's in. Yet it clearly has an impact. And similarly, we know that the physicality, the biological status of the human also impacts on the soul. That's why, as Muslims, we are taught to fast, we are taught to pray, we are taught to give zakah, we are told all these things. Why are we told all these? These are bodily acts. These are physical acts, financial acts, because clearly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that these physical acts have also a direct impact on one's soul. So it's important that we balance that. So, I'm not saying throw all your medicines away, that you need to seek advice, obviously, from your GP. But the point I'm raising with this particular article is that clearly it shows that we still don't fully understand the mind. We don't fully understand the human in his holistic manner, as a totality. All we can do is treat him or her piecemeal, in bits, not realizing, and any novice scientist will tell you that you modify one part of something is going to have an impact on something else. I know we use the word side effect, but clearly shows that doing something to the body always has other effects that take place on the body as well. And I think we need to obviously tread carefully when we start to just drop magic medicines or magic pills for every problem that we face. It's important that that becomes our last resort. A bit like we've seen, say, with antibiotics, we take them for colds, sneezes, coughs, and anything, and then unfortunately they become pretty much ineffective. Anyway, let's pick up some questions whilst we make that next shout out. The number 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. So as I mentioned to you previously, obviously I have a number of forums in which I receive questions whilst we're waiting for you to call in. So I'll take a question from here. So Assalamu alaikum. I have used the search feature on this group. That's good to hear. To look for an answer regarding ethanol products. I've been given a boxed gift set of 4 perfumes. The ingredients are alcohol, ethanol content 80%. Goodness me. Aqua, which is water, and perfume, which is fragrance. I'm assuming that these perfumes are not permissible as the ethanol is concentrated. Please could you clarify my understanding is correct? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As mentioned previously on this group and on the number of forums that I do attend, that whenever we find ethanol, in particular when it's used in fragrances and perfumes, then this ethanol has been derived or has been synthesized in a large scale on a manufacturing plant, meaning that it is not being extracted from dates, from grapes, from any natural substance. It is those in which particular that they have an issue of a impurity. So the one thing, remember, there's two aspects to ethanol. One is the fact that it's considered impure if it is from those sources. And the other thing is that it can become an intoxicant if consumed. Now, obviously, not all of us go around drinking our perfumes. So therefore, because we don't drink them, then we only have to consider the aspect of the alcoholic, the cleanliness nature. Cleanliness nature means, is it considered as tuhur? Is it considered as pure? Or is it considered as something which will defile a person? So in this case, it is not. But I'm absolutely shocked to think that there will be 80% alcohol in it. I know there will be quite a significant amount, but that's pretty high, to be honest. So maybe you just need to check in that. Next one, Assalamu alaikum. The below video forwarded by my brother from a local imam has caused a lot of doubts among my family members regarding start time of Isha. According to this video, Isha does not enter in the summer but starts well past 11 p.m. No masjid appears to be following this. The imam in the video insists that if Isha time enters, then we shouldn't be praying before the time. Also, Fajr start time they have as 1:22, the last time it entered. All masjid timetables have Fajr starting after 3 a.m. Why is there such a big discrepancy in the times? For ease, we shouldn't be praying before the time starts. I'm a bit confused now. So are my family. Should there be going Isha Jamaat before the start time? Also, if Fajr start time is not after 3 a.m., please, that also impacts fast times. The timetable is here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister, I'm quite shocked at this question because I've answered this particular question several times. In fact, I have a detailed research fatwa on this, and I've mentioned that as well several times. If you go to www.irtis.org.uk and then search on the menu for research fatwa, you will find that I've written a 60-odd page text on this. I think it's called something like Isha and Fajr times for Muslims in the UK. I can't remember the exact title, but it's something along those sorts of lines. Similarly, if you were to just Google my name and write Isha Fajr, I'm sure you'll find lots of videos and lots of pieces that I've written or spoke about on this particular topic, and in fact on this particular group itself. We have a habit, unfortunately, where when the problem arises, we just want to get the question out. If you search for it, you would have found it, I'm pretty much sure. Similarly, if you search for it online, you would have found it. So please do that, have a read of that, and that will give you a better understanding. In answer to that question, the Imam is absolutely correct that due to the latitude of northern countries like England, for example, and Scotland, and then as we move across into mainland Europe, in Norway, Netherlands, and Sweden, and countries of that region, we find that due to the latitude, the sun does not, I know technically the sun does not set, but let's just use that terminology for now. The sun does not reach low enough to start for Isha, which means that Isha technically does not start. It does start up until in April, late April, early May, as late as 12:30, 12:45, nearly 1 in the morning. And then when we reach around May the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, up to about August time sometime, there is actually an absence of Isha. And therefore, there are numerous options available. But please do read that. I don't want to summarize it. I spent 6 to 8 months research and writing it. I'd rather you read it, inshallah. So just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, the number is 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. I'm just looking around for the clock just to make sure that I've got some time to play with. 6 minutes to go. So that's all the questions on our ladies group. Let's see if we've got any on our gents group. I think they all seem to be Isha related questions. I can imagine obviously that there would be Isha related questions because obviously that time of the year is here, and therefore people always ask questions and seek answers on matters which become important to them at that particular time. So let's see what we've got here. Assalamu alaikum, dear Mufti Sahab. I would like to know about vows. Is it permissible in Islam? If it's permissible, how do I do it correctly? For example, when someone has any need, he wants to have a baby, then what should he say? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One can make a vow. It is better not to make vows or promises to Allah or words to that phrase. You know, you ask Allah, you make dua to Allah, and He will give. But some people do like to make them, so there is some permissibility, but rather, as I said, the better position is that you don't make vows, you just make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer your dua, and if He doesn't, there's a reason behind it why He doesn't, and we should accept that and move on. But if you do make a vow, then obviously you can say that I vow that, oh Allah, if you grant me A, B, C, then I will do X, Y, Z. But then make sure that you do that. So yes, one can say it, but as I said, the more sound position is that we shouldn't be making vows with Allah in this way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mufti. Hope you are well. Are we allowed to use polystyrene foam cups for tea? I've heard that they contain haram contents. Jazakum khairan wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I understand it, many of us have been using polystyrene foam cups for tea for a long time. I've not come across anyone suggesting that they contain anything which would be of a haram substance, so I'm pretty much surprised that that would be the case. Similarly, because they are used in the food industry, then obviously they would go through rigorous testing to make sure that there's nothing untoward for people who would be drinking out of them. So I find that difficult to accept. So until you can provide any specific evidence that has come across your eyes or understanding, then I would say that they are permissible to drink from them, as I have never heard in all my time that they contain haram contents. Assalamu alaikum. If someone has a very elderly relative who has not been well for the last couple of years and is bedbound, and family members believe now he's very close to death, how shall we supplicate? Normally we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant recovery, health, but in such circumstances, what would be the most appropriate thing to do? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There is still no harm in asking Allah for recovery, for ease, for removing the pain, removing the harm, and for cure. Well, Allah knows best whether this person is actually going to pass away in this particular stage of illness. It could be that they make a recovery. It has been known, it has been recorded within the medical world that people have made recoveries from the most unusual and scenarios where there was little hope that that person would recover. So we shouldn't lose hope in Allah. But also we can then ask if the person is breathing their last, literally, and the doctors have informed us that this person is now on the way. Then obviously we can make dua for their ease, for afiyah, for success and protection in the grave, for being resurrected in a good state, for their sins to be forgiven, for their good deeds to be increased, and things of that nature, to give obviously sabr to the people who they leave behind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless and reward you all for your work. I have a general question about Fajr and Isha prayer in summer, and here we go again. Okay, I'm conscious of time, so what I'll do is I will answer this one after the break, and there's another one as well, which has another question. So inshallah, plenty of questions there, both on Isha and Fajr. So what we'll do is I'm going to leave them because they're quite long, and I will pick them up after our short break, because we are now coming up to our short break. We've not had any of you calling in. Don't need to be nervous, okay? I know you might still be sat outside in the garden enjoying these last few days of summer before winter comes next week. But please do pick up your call, pick up your phone and dial 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299. Give us a call and we will inshallah endeavor to discuss the matter with you, whatever the issue is that is concerning you, any question that you might have, anything that has crossed your mind over these last few days of the sun, and how quick things can change, can't they? 1 minute it's cold and we're complaining about the weather, next minute it gets so hot we're complaining about the weather, and sometimes we just cannot be satisfied, can we? We very rarely express statements of gratitude. We very rarely make comments of contentment. We're always complaining. We're always, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, it's too hot. It's this, whatever. Whatever moment you're in, enjoy that particular moment, because you do not know your next moment, whether that next moment is going to be an improvement of the moment that you've just experienced, or even worse than that you've just experienced. So on that particular note, we have the first session behind us. we now look forward to the second session. I look forward to taking a few sips of that coffee because I've not had a chance yet. I was so engrossed in what I was doing, it totally slipped my mind. So I'll have that during the break. So join me again in a few minutes' time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.